and Newbury, and they all ended up, my great-grandfather married the woman from the Rand family from Warner, and their daughter married Warren Blodgett.
Hey,
So we had them all
Jan,
in
I
one
want to make
room.
sure to catch that on film. So we just started filming. Deane, could you say where we are?
Where's my cheat sheet?
Say where we are and who's here.
So many
first.
places you could start.
And then maybe start with that 1600 family.
Well, I'll just tell them who I am and bring it down and then go to the side.
Perfect.
A lot of trivial anecdotes.
You're good at this. You're a natural. But just introduce first what we're doing and who's in the room so that people can
Okay,
hear voice.
so it's running now.
It's running now.
Okay, the voice that you hear off camera is Deane Geddes. I'm a member of the Historical Society. I'm joined here by the head librarian, Leah McBain, also the president of the Newbury Historical Society, Sally Harris, and another board member from the...
Who's nosy?
Judy Laporte. And the purpose today is to collect an oral history from Dr. Randolph Chandler Blodgett.
Junior.
Junior. Oh, thank you for that, Chad. What I've done is I've prepared a couple of questions here, just to so that we can record who you are and where you fit. My particular interest in the town of Newbury is its genealogies. So I may tend to go off into that direction, but we're very interested in hearing about your experiences here in Newbury. I recently learned that you came, your father brought you to your grandfather's cottage over at Blaisdell nearly every summer when you were a kid. And that exposed you to the area.
Something like that. My grandfather built his first cottage on Blaisdell Lake in the 1910, and I was actually here longer than I lived in my life because my mother carried me around.
There you go.
Then it's a strange story though. My folks were both from New Hampshire. They met each other in New Jersey. They're both teachers, and when she was pregnant, come to find out the obstetrician that she saw in West Orange, New Jersey, was from Blaisdell Lake.
Wow.
In the meantime, my grandfather built where the Hallahan place it's been torn down again.
Do you know that? Laura's parents?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
And it was owned, that particular property, nice property, has been owned by the O'Neills. And Arthur Goodfriend, who I think worked for the government, studying spy, let's face it, in Indonesia. And then the O'Neills got it again, and then the Hallahans got it. And now they just tore it. Some guy bought it for $1.1 million and tore it down.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey, Chan, I need to ask you the $64,000 question here. What year were you born?
1933.
Wow.
If your calendar goes back that far.
Thank you. Now, since you told me that you're junior, then I know who your father is.
Correct.
He's senior, all right?
He grew up in Sutton.
Yeah, he grew up in Sutton. And your mother's name?
Florence Johnson.
Florence Johnson.
and where did she grow up?
Well, I think she was born, that part of the family, the other half of the family who grew up in the Epping, in the Exeter area.
Okay.
My grandparents, they were kind of latecomers. They came over in 1889. And the house that they lived in on Pleasant Street in Epping is still there. And I recently visited the lady who owns it.
Oh, nice.
And when they came, there was great stories. So they came by boat and they wrapped huge mirrors. They put mattresses around them on the boat to get them over here.
Wow.
And we still have a couple of pieces of that furniture with a round Victorian.
Yeah, the rounded glass. Yeah.
Then my mother and her 3 or 4 cousins all grew up in that area.
Ah.
And then she lived. Then my grandfather, who came from Maine, way back, his grandfather was in the Maine legislature in the before we had postage stamps, because I have some of the letters.
Ah. You have siblings?
No.
You're only child?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Don't think they could have afforded them then.
Yeah, for sure. And your hometown is,
Well, that's kind of where I hang my hat. I grew up going to school in New Jersey, Bloomfield and Glen Ridge, New Jersey.
one of the Oranges?
That was just where the hospital was.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're in that general area, yeah, near outside of Newark,
outside of Newark.
Montclair.
Yeah.
Area. And we always spent. My dad was a high school teacher, so he had 3 months off every summer. So we were up here for 3 months every summer.
Yeah.
And then I got out. I kind of never went back. I really didn't care for the area there, and so I lived on the lake for a couple of years. When I went to UNH, and so I'd come up weekends and so forth. And June is my favorite month. Come up, paint the boats, paint the cottage, whatever it needed.
So you went to UNH?
Yeah.
Ah,
Got out of there in '55,
yeah.
and I wasn't quite sure. I was quite happy painting houses and things, but somehow I almost went to the Coast Guard Academy. I was accepted, and I looked around when I finally decided to go to college, and about the last moment I said, no, I'm going to go to UNH. My dad graduated there at 22.
Wow.
And let's see, where were we? Yeah, so after that, I ended up applying to medical schools because I took pre-med. I never really planned ahead on doing these things, but they just fell into place. And I ended up going to the University of Vermont Medical School. And then I went out to the Mayo Clinic to finish my training and joined the staff there.
Where?
Mayo Clinic,
Out in Rochester?
Rochester, Minnesota.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was at the Mayo for a while.
Yeah,
And then I went in the Air Force for a couple of years.
yeah.
As a doctor?
Yeah. I kept putting them off. I said, you want to really get all my training, don't you? They said, yeah.
They gave you a commission, didn't
Oh, yeah, Captain.
Yeah.
But they begged me to stay, but I said, what have you got? He said, well, we have the ready reserve. I said, what's that mean? It means if we need you, we call you. I said, but you're still drafting doctors, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
What was your specialty?
Oh, I'm a rheumatologist.
Okay.
Rheumatologist.
Yeah, internal medicine and rheumatologist. And we continue that track. So from Mayo, and then I went in the military, went back to Mayo, and then a friend of mine from the military was at Geisinger Medical Center in Pennsylvania. He said, hey, they need a rheumatologist out here. The head man was an orthopedic surgeon, and he wanted someone to take care of the non-surgical patients. Oh, that was a tough decision. I really loved it out there, but all my family was here. And I figured when I go on vacation, the family gets ticked off at me. If I visit the family, we don't get a vacation. Yeah. So we did. We came to Danville, and it was a factory town. My wife looks around at these houses and says, "You're going to stay here?" But right now, I was the 60th physician at the Geisinger Medical Center. They now have over 6,000 scattered all around the States. But the man who was their first physician didn't graduate, but he took surgical training at the Mayo Clinic in 1915. And then he left, and about 80% of the guys I worked with there were all Mayo trained, so it was kind of nice. It felt like home. So
Where'd you meet your wife, Jan?
In Burlington, Vermont.
At UVM?
Yeah. And,
What's her name?
Betty Phillips.
H-U-R-S?
No, Phillips. P-H.
Phillips.
Yeah.
And then how did you come back to the Northeast from?
From Geisinger. From Mayo, we came back to Geisinger.
Oh, yeah, but then what
Yeah,
happened?
and then I started the arthritis department and the teaching program and the fellowship program, and I was getting on the board. I guess I keep looking for things to do. And when I was there 13 years, and I got an offer to go to Smith, Kline and French Laboratories because they were having trouble with an arthritis drug they were trying to produce. And so I started there, and suddenly I was the vice president of clinical research and development for Smith, Kline and French. So I did that for 10 years, and then they were combining with Glaxo actually.
Yeah.
And we'd have to either move to New York or London. I said, I'm not going. I retired at age 55.
Ah,
And I'm much better off now than I ever was working. My hobby was investing.
Oh, okay.
Do you have children?
Yeah, we had 3 children. Steve was the oldest. He's now 67. My kids. Jennifer was my middle one, and unfortunately she died of cancer of the lung at the age of 44. But she left us 2 grandchildren. And my youngest is 64, I guess.
what's his name?
60, Will.
William?
William, yeah. Named him after my favorite uncle.
Ah,
I don't know where the name Chandler came from. It's obviously, it's everywhere up here.
Yeah.
But my great-grandfather was William Chandler, and his sister was Olive Chandler, and that's the one who married Horace Messer.
That
So
makes
she
Tracy
becomes
your cousin.
Tracy's great-great-grandmother.
Wow.
Small
yeah,
world.
yeah, they're all from Chandlerville, I think.
Probably,
Where,
yeah.
where did Randolph come from?
I'm not sure, but there's 3 or 4 of them. And we got 5 Chandlers in a row, all the middle name.
Yeah. But Randolph, you think was just, your parents liked the
Could have
name?
been some on my grandmother's side, down in Manchester and so forth. I suspect it came from down there somewhere.
Okay,
But I'm not sure. Didn't run that one down.
yeah.
There's so many leads, you can't count them all.
Yeah.
So that was kind of me. And then after I retired, I was getting impatient. I looked at it, I did a little consulting, and I got too many things to do. So we moved back up here.
Yeah,
My
Yeah.
son is an optometrist down where we used to live. My
in New
oldest,
Jersey.
Yeah, no, in Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
And my oldest son works out of, he's a financial strategist of sorts. Where you have a business you want to sell, he comes in and tells you how you can do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's,
And so all that time when you were in Pennsylvania, were you coming here summers?
oh, sure,
Yeah.
sure, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was pretty much the lifespan. Done some interesting things. Interesting things in your life that hang on. I was awarded, what's her name? Jane Wyman. Remember Jane Wyman? Was vulnerable actress.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely right. Ronnie Reagan's first wife.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I did a lot of volunteer work for the National Arthritis Foundation. I was on the board of trustees and a couple other things. I got an award from her at a meeting out in California for all the volunteer work.
Oh,
That
nice.
was a. And then another highlight I had was at an international rheumatology meeting. SmithKline used me not so much because I'd worked both sides of the street, research and clinical, but to go out and promote and keep. Well, I was responsible for keeping all of the salesmen all around the world honest and up to date in the clinical data. So
Yeah.
that was on their nickel I saw the world.
Yeah, that's great.
But so that was kind of fun. But at this meeting, a lot of people from around the world. This rather well-dressed Japanese gentleman and his wife, wonderful-looking people, were standing there, and someone introduced me. And we chatted for a little while, and they said, "Yeah, we're the patrons of the rheumatology department." So I didn't know it then. He was the Prince of Japan,
Oh my gosh.
who became the emperor.
Wow.
Who we didn't touch.
Jeez.
All right. Wow.
And I think another third one, I these things stick in your mind. Another third one was I had dinner, just sit down dinner with other members of the Mayo Clinic staff at the the Superior Court in in Washington D.C.
Yeah.
As a member of an invitee of Dr. Blackman, who was then
One of the justices.
a superior judge. Yeah. So those 3 things I think always come back to me when somebody says, "What'd you do? What'd you find
Yeah,
out?"
yeah.
That's pretty.
They're fun. They're fun things.
They are
And
fun.
other than that, while I was working, I just met wonderful people all around the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So tell me about your time as a teenager coming up here, summertime. Did you see other cousins? And
Not too many. No, my one first cousin died of cancer at the age of 29. I never knew him very well.
yeah,
I have a lot of second cousins, and of course by now they're all gone. But I have very few people left.
Yeah.
But Dad built the cottage that we still have in 1934 or 5, and that's where he came up summers for the rest of my life, really. And my grandfather, his father, built a cottage next door, which we rented out after he died in '39. We rented it out, and then we finally sold it to some people, and got some very delightful neighbors there now.
Yeah.
So that's the story there. I didn't have an awful lot of connection with Newbury at that time. Didn't even know the history until I got delving into it.
Yeah.
And the only other relative I remember was what was her name? The postmistress, Blodgett Wells. Her first name was Alice.
Okay.
And she's interesting. I also collect stamps, but that post office was officially closed at a certain time,
Yeah.
but they kept using it locally.
Oh, they did? Oh, that's interesting.
And Elmer Blodgett, I have a thing he stabbed. He was from the other half of the family. He was the postmaster down in South Newbury.
Elmer.
Elmer, yeah. I didn't know that side of the family well, but
Did he run the store too?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, my great grandfather, well, Blodgett's Landing, of course, Uncle George, he built a hotel there. It's called Blodgett's Hotel. It's also called the Forest Lodge over the years. And was an interesting story there. When we could come down a ways, we had Daniel, was Tom's son, the person who came over in 1634, came to Cambridge and was in that area. Daniel, they moved up to Chelmsford in that area and came up the river more or less like everybody else did. And he had a son, well, they had a lot of kids, but the one that I'm following was Benjamin. I don't know too much about him. And he had a son, Benjamin Jr., which I don't know much about. And one of his many kids, was Joshua Blodgett, the 5th generation. I'm the 10th generation, he's the 5th generation. And he had 2 sons. No, he had another son, Joshua Jr., and Joshua's in Baker Hill Cemetery. His son is in the Lakeside Cemetery in that little fence at the top.
Okay.
And a scattering of other relatives are all over that place. But Joshua Jr. had 2 sons, Nathan and William. William being my great-grandfather, and Nathan and his progenitors were primarily in the Sunapee, Newport area.
Okay.
And Joshua's obviously more here in Newbury, and it wasn't strictly that.
Yeah.
But this is where he started.
We read that George Washington Blodgett was a very colorful character.
Well, yeah, he was Joshua's grandson.
Yeah.
Joshua bought the farm, and as a kid, obviously George played there, and then he took it over at some point. And after the Civil War, a few years after the Civil War, he started inviting some of his buddies from Manchester up for R&R. And they came up, and the reason the lots are so small is because they set up tents. They're all tent lots, little houses. And then pretty soon the spiritualists, who were very heavy in New Hampshire, then especially in Laconia and that area, they came every summer. They built a stage. I got great pictures of these, pictures of the stage they had, the casino and so forth. And my grandmother once said, and allegedly he joined the spiritualists. Of course, he was in business. My grandmother said probably the spirits he had were more apt to have come from a bottle.
So what was the relationship between the spiritualists and the Blodgetts? The Blodgetts owned the property
And
rented it
they
out
came
to-
as
As a tenant.
tenants in the summer,
Okay.
yeah. But they built all these little cottages and so forth. Now, there's another thing. I have a great picture of George and his then wife in their little horse and buggy going down the street on a postcard. But what nobody has ever...
Old Billy? Was that the name of the horse?
Theoretically 35 years old.
Yeah.
That's not documented, but it's
Yeah.
legend. But at the same time that was going on, there was a mystic, seer, whatever you want to call her, Chaddock, Mrs. S.B. Chaddock. I gave him a paper about it. who bought the land, Isle of Pines. It's had 10 names: Isle of Pines, Liberty. It's the island of a few hundred yards from Blodgett's Landing over towards the other side. I think it's they finally put a bridge from there to the.
Oh, is it the one at Cressy Point, at the end of Cressy?
No, it's on the other side.
It's Brookhaven.
Oh, in you mean
Brookhaven,
way
yeah, Brookhaven, yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, same era, the late 80s, and they brought their spiritualists in. She built a commodious house there, put people up, brought them in. They had their celebrations every year. Neither group apparently recognized the other. I have found nothing that shows they knew each other was there.
Really? So you had the Blodgett's one and the
Yeah.
Brookhaven ones.
500 yards away or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know nothing more about it, but the article was kind of interesting on her. She was a seer, and if somebody died, she'd help you communicate with them.
Back to George, I find him fascinating in that, he inherited the farm,
Yeah.
and the next thing you know, he's renting tent sites. And then the next thing we know is that he's building cottages.
Hey, Deane, can I just, what year would that have happened?
Well, my mind goes to I started the Civil War.
Okay.
So when the Civil War was over, about 1865, he's back in town again.
Okay, that's when he inherits the property.
Maybe.
No. My great grandfather got out of the army in 1781. 81.
Okay.
76 to 81, and he owned it as a farm. And it was 2 generations later that George took it over. I
Yeah,
think.
so that was Revolutionary War.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, and George served in the Civil War.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And,
you're right. It's Civil War buddies from Manchester that he invited up.
Yeah. But for a farm boy, he done good. I mean, renting out tent sites. He was very fortunate to have an association like the spiritualists.
Yeah.
If you go to a place once and they like it, they pass the word around back where they came from, and next year the numbers have doubled. And before you know it, they need a stage and this
They
sort
got
of
it.
thing. And so George builds a hotel, and at one point he owned a steamship.
Yeah, right. He owned it for a short period of time. I think it's still buried. Part of its skeleton is still off the dock in Blodgett's Landing
off of
there.
the ticket
Oh, the
booth.
Weedham or the Brookhaven?
Yeah,
not Weedham.
no, that was the other one.
He bought the Edmund Burke.
Edmund Burke, yes.
And he
Yeah.
changed the name
To-
to Winona,
Winona.
which I
Yeah.
believe is a
Yeah, my son
character
has
from
dived there and taken pictures of all the remnants of the ground. Not
Yeah.
much left.
Yeah.
We have the anchor and the propeller from the
Uh-huh.
Edmund Burke at the
Yeah,
dive shop.
at the dot shop, yeah.
That's interesting.
I get the feeling he was not very interested in the steamship business.
Probably not. It was just probably looking at it from a businessman's point of view, and maybe it didn't work. I mean, it's about the time the trains came through and so forth.
Yeah.
The Edmund Burke was a hard luck ship anyway. It had
It
several.
sunk twice before.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Well, it's in the genes though, because if you go back a couple generations to Joshua the first, his cousin, also 5th generation, also American Revolution, Samuel. It's confusing. There's so many Samuels and
Joshua's. Yeah.
but he's the one that they named. That you'll see in the article there. When he came over, he looked down the river. They lived around Manchester. He says, past the falls, he says, I could easily see this as a very busy industrial city like Manchester in England. He was a prophet.
Wow.
And then he decided later, and he had lumber, he couldn't get the lumber down the river, so he wanted to put a canal around it. It took him many years and blew his fortune on it, but he put the canal around the obstruction in the river, and he died 4 months after it opened. He opened it, he was 70 when he was working on it, died at 83, and it took him 13 years to get the whole thing in. And it's a great story. But in his lifetime, he and his son, I get it mixed up sometimes, invented a machine to get the ships up off the bottom with all the gold when they sunk.
Oh, yeah.
Went over to Spain and England. He said, I can't deal with these people, they're so crooked. Came back here. He he lived in the house or helped build the house that President Adams lived in Washington. He started an insurance company in Philadelphia. God, I mean, the list goes on and on. The Goffstown Historical Society has a lot of stuff on him, and that because actually they came back to Goffstown after the war. I think that side of the family. But it's just amazing when you see what they've done.
Yeah.
And on and on and on. You read it and you can't believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no transportation then.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. What about, what were the rumors about George? What did people say in the background about George? I heard he didn't cash a lot of checks.
I did hear that there's a trunk full somewhere. Yeah, my grandmother used to talk about that he just put them in a trunk. Maybe he was drunk, I don't know, but he just put them in a trunk and cashed them as he needed them. The other thing was, I guess they had 99-year leases, and I said, hey, we ought to go cash those in. I think somebody, because they were ahead of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's true. I'd forgotten that, but you're right.
Yeah.
The Dunbars in Manchester were part of that as a family too, and I think now the Dunbar that George married was not the same family. She was from Maine. Dr. Dunbar was an internal medicine guy in Manchester, and his two sons were on New Guinea in World War II. And I, being a little kid then, they used to send all the stamps and things back to me, knowing I was a stamp collector.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That was a whole several generations before you. What are your memories about Lake Sunapee? Did you come over here and play? Or
Yes. We used to come over. Well, when we had a car, we'd come over and we'd stop in Newbury, jump in, take a swim, get in the car, go to the next one, go all around the lake to all the public docks.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. That was back when you could swim in Sunapee Harbor.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, you can swim anywhere then.
Yeah.
I'm going back 60 years probably.
Yeah.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
80.
Yeah.
But we used to, and George Grow, whose father was a lawyer for the Sherman National Bank, they had a cottage on the lake. He and I were buddies, and we'd walk from Bradford over to South Newbury, go swimming, walk back, get a Coke or something at that place the health department didn't know about. And on the right-hand side of the road, you remember the little hot dog stand there?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Not the doghouse.
It was. What was the name of it? It had a big.
The doghouse.
The
doghouse.
doghouse. Oh, the doghouse.
No. This is on Route 103.
Oh my word.
The old lady that was there.
Oh, we got hot dogs there and we had to throw them away. They were green. Oh, terrible.
Where was this?
Right down in the corner of Mountain Road. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, not Mountain Road.
Yeah.
Down further. The
Village Road?
The one that goes
Morse Hill?
up Morse Hill Road. They were right in that corner.
Where
between,
Dickie's shop?
No, it's before that. The other end of Morse Hill.
You mean more towards South Newbury?
Airport near South Newbury.
Oh, okay. There was
You go by the church.
Yeah.
And then take a left, and they were right in that corner.
Oh.
And who was the family?
Oh.
Yeah, we stopped there for a Coke or something one day, and she opened up her cooler. The hot dogs were floating in the water in there, so we decided we wouldn't have a hot dog.
And they moved to Warner after they
Did
finally
they?
closed that
Oh,
place, and it was just as dumpy down there, except they didn't have it open.
Were you friends with any kids from South Newbury?
Not really.
Not
Once in
really.
a great while, we'd cross paths, but no, not a lot.
Because my mom would have been a couple years older than you and spent her summers in South Newbury, and she had cousins that were a little bit younger, the Dubays that spent young years there. But
Yeah, well, back and during the war, we didn't travel a lot.
Yeah.
No, gas rationing.
Yeah, right.
Did you come to dances here, anywhere here in
No, the
Newbury?
Bradford Barn.
Yeah.
Go for the Saturday night fight.
the Bradford barn. So is that different from Fortune's barn?
Yeah, same one.
That's
Same
it,
one.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
Fortune's
yeah,
barn.
yeah.
That was the highlight of the thing. We also have dances in North Sutton, in the square there. They would put grain, oats or something
yes.
down to make it smooth, and every Saturday night. And Wilbur, who had the caller, was about 14 years old. It was really funny because his voice was still changing. And he's the one that had the Radio Shack up here in.
He was calling right up until he died.
died.
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He
can
was
remember
good.
here in the parking lot here, one of our
Yeah.
Newbury days,
Yeah.
he was
Yeah, all
calling.
his life.
Yeah.
He went quick when he went.
Yeah,
But he started as a kid, huh?
Yeah, 14, I think he's 14 years old. He was
Oh,
calling
my
in
word.
Sutton on Saturday nights.
That is
yeah,
funny.
That's funny.
yeah, yeah. He had 2 stores. He had one in over in Wendell.
Yes.
He shared the building with the fellow that had the glass factory.
Yeah.
What was his name?
Right on the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right in the corner.
yeah. Oh,
Where was his other store?
almost across from the T-Bird gas station.
Oh, okay.
Right in the fork of the road there to go up to Sunapee. I think he called himself Sunapee Glass Works.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sunapee Glass
And
Works.
he lives down on South Road,
Okay.
across the street from our friend that lives in the golf course house.
Oh, okay. We just talked to them.
Yeah, we were just talking about him. Anyway, and then he had a spot up in the mall, up at by the Hannafords.
Well, I lost track of him for many years till I ran into him again.
I remember a conversation from a few years ago. You mentioned that you came up to the Davis Cabins area where you were
yeah.
involved with.
Well-
somebody was flying out of there.
Yeah, who?
Gene Guile.
Gene who?
Gene Guile.
Guile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gene.
Is
Well,
that the
Gene.
yellow plane?
Gene used to. We had a seaplane base on Blaisdell Lake.
Oh.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, down at Bass Point. It was on all the FAA maps and everything. And I learned to fly there when I was 15, 16 years old.
Oh.
And so I came up and flew with him. He had a widgeon. There's a plane, it was sort of a sportsman-like plane. Why it flew, I don't know. It had the engine was behind you and it pushed you. It didn't pull
Yeah.
up, short wings. And I said, "What's that up there?" He said, "That's 50 pounds of lead to balance the plane." I said, "Why the hell didn't they make the wings bigger?"
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I was only 16 when
He
I
was a
said that.
commercial pilot, you know. He was a commercial pilot.
Gene.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
see.
Gene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he married one of the Davis, into the Davis.
Right, the
Yeah.
Davis girl, yeah, Muriel.
So I flew from his place a couple times. It was fun on Sunapee because we didn't want to go way down the lake to take off into the wind. So we would go downwind, which meant you tip it up on one pontoon and tear it off. In the meantime, all the motorboats are giving you this.
That sounds like Gene.
So Gene Guile is the father of Joan Burrett?
Yes,
Ah,
yes, Allison.
yes, and Allison.
Yeah.
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 There.
So that was just part of my growing up.
What we're saying here is that Gene Guile's daughter and her husband are giving a presentation on the Davis Cabins, Lakeville Station.
This
next
Saturday.
next Sunday.
Is it this Saturday?
Next Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah. And she'll be
Next
here.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Right here.
The
Yeah,
sixth.
and of course, that was also
This coming
Lake
Saturday.
Station.
Yes,
And
yes.
so part of some of the stonework from the train turnarounds is still up there.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
So,
No, I never
hope
spent
that
much
they'll
time
have
there, but
pictures of
mostly
that.
out front.
I would believe that taking a plane off of Blaisdell Lake would be tricky.
No,
You're surrounded by hills there.
that's true. Well, you slip it when you come in.
Yeah.
In other words, we keep a regular traffic pattern, you know, and as you're coming around, you come around, you just cross your controls and it slips like this.
That sounds terrifying.
We flew in.
That's not a long way from barnstorming.
We took Richard's plane
Yeah.
in there to the doghouse when that was
You did?
active. Yes, and we had no idea. He was feisty, and we had no idea how he would receive us.
Who, Pat?
Yeah, Pat.
Oh, but I told you before, I was his first employee.
Oh, you
Yeah.
were?
Yeah. And he was thrilled that we came in because he's going to tell all of his customers they even fly in to eat here at the dog.
Well, we had a little flying history on Blaisdell. Dr. Wright, who used to be the town doc in Bradford,
Yep.
kept his J3 Piper Cub down at the end of Watkins Avenue there. And They say he drove his car faster than the plane would fly. He'd have an open convertible with his 2 little kids standing in the seat and going up and down 114. 114,
It's like a roller coaster, right?
Yeah, it really was in those days.
Yeah.
So Blaisdell has had a lot of.
And then my friend
planes.
George, when he was in the Air Force, after he got out of the Air Force, he kept flying. And he flew a Grumman in, and he put it up on the sand there, talked to Estelle. We were all family, at that point, basically. I was the son they said they never had.
So how long was the doghouse there? Because I remember as a kid, we took swimming lessons on that beach there, and we always went to the doghouse, but that would have been in the 60s and 70s.
Oh, yeah. The doghouse opened in 1949.
So that was there a long time.
Tom Grant, who was the father of Donnie and Tommy Grant, drove his tractor up one day with Mrs. Ferry's cake house. She used to have bakery stuff, or a little shack in front of the South Sutton post office. And they planted it there, and the 3 of them started business. And the next year, the boys got out because they had other things to do. And Pat kept it with Estelle, and he built a dining room on it.
Okay.
And,
So now when did it close? Do you remember?
Yes, Pat died in 1979. He was born in 1909, so he'd have been 70 years old. He had quite a history. And
What was Pat's last family name?
Rooney.
Pat Rooney.
Rooney?
Rooney.
Pat Rooney.
Yeah, his grandfather was a prize fighter, came over from Ireland, and somehow his son, maybe he danced too, but his son took up dancing, and then when the old man died, he changed from junior to that, and Pat Rooney III changed to Pat Rooney Jr. to confuse people. And he and his dad, in his later years, I saw them at the Palace Theater in New York one night. They did a waltz clog to the daughter of Rosie O'Grady, and these guys were perfect. They would dance, do the thing, and then one would get behind the other, and you could only see one person. You could not. It was perfect precision.
Wow.
But the Sonny Harris over here was one of the few people that really liked him. Very few people really liked Pat.
He was a little scary. He was scary to a little kid.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, he and I, with my caustic sense of humor and his, we got along great.
So now, how long before he died did he close the?
No, he died in '79. Estelle tried to keep it open. I think she closed
That's
it
right.
about
I remember
82.
that.
And then for a while they had every other year they had
Then
that,
some of the alumni every
Yeah.
other year to raise money for the Lake Association.
but they don't do it anymore.
I think we've done the last one about 2 years ago.
Okay.
I think.
We used to
never
go,
say never.
but, yeah.
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 We had the 100th celebration of the mini Moha cottage down the other end of the lake last year. That was where a guy by the name of Brooks used to own that. And well, my cottage is 90 years old.
Yeah.
Good. Does anybody else have any questions for Chan?
What time is it? How are we doing for time?
We're up to 50 minutes.
Okay, I do.
Yes.
Because when we started and I said, hold that conversation, I don't want to lose it, you were talking about the house that had 3 different families that had come in the 1600s.
Yeah, well, you know about the Blodgetts. Ezra, the Blodgetts in Newbury came up. They went back and forth to Manchester and Newbury.
Okay.
But in Sutton, Ezra Littlehale came in about 1790 or so, and he's had about 10 generations, but my great-grandfather in Sutton was the first showman in Sutton. He was W.H. Littlehale. He had animals, and he would take the animals around to the fairs, to the schools, to educational, and to the fairs and so forth. But they weren't wild animals, they were common animals, and odd animals. Albino skunk, albino porcupine, weasel, that, snakes. He loved snakes. And he lived, and so he died about 1905, I guess. And he lived on Meeting House Hill Road. And my dad lived there, obviously, as a kid. He went to school in Sutton, in Warner. He used to go down on the train on Monday morning, stay with his uncle in Lower Warner, Friday afternoon, he'd get back on the train, go back home, to high school.
Wow.
Then he went to UNH. But but the Rands, where the family came over in 16 something or other, we lost a lot of these people to the Indians,
Okay.
actually. But they all got into. Most everybody went. Well, they said any New England kid saw running water wanted to start a mill, and they did.
Yeah.
And so they came. My Celeste Rand came from a family up in Webster. She was a very classy lady. We have pictures of her, but she would have been my great grandmother.
Okay.
And W.H. had two daughters. Blanche, who was a cripple, lived in Warner for years, in Lower Warner.
Oh, I knew her.
You knew her?
Yeah, very well.
She's a good friend. The courses were very good to her.
Yeah.
A junior courser used to bring her up, and she said, drive over here, I want to see where Dad is. Well, her dad was supposedly buried behind two great rocks behind the house. Pipes drilled down so the snakes could come visit him if they wanted to.
Jeez.
And I tried to find the area. And David Anderson's house, you know Dave Anderson?
Like the Forest Society, David Anderson?
Yeah. Dave was living in South Sutton. His new house, 20 years I guess, his new house is built on the foundation of my great-grandfather's house.
Wow.
Oh, my word.
And that's something. And he and I junior courser and I spent a few weekends, and Dave and I did, I finally took my metal detector up there to see, because Chet Wright, when he was 10 years old, helped build the coffin.
Wow.
Well, actually, he was the animal boy for my great-grandfather.
Oh,
Took care of his animals, and he was there when they buried him and so forth. Big iron hinges and big iron lock on it,
Yeah.
on 2-inch planks. I mean, this guy was a
Wow.
heavy beast.
Wow.
And somebody said in that ground they must have had him. They must have buried him sitting up. It's so rocky. Anyway, he had no markers, no service, no nothing. And so, but this description I got from Cliff Air, I got from a book that Chet Wright wrote, and on, my dad and others. I kind of coned in on an area. Now, to me, two large rocks are greater than I am.
Right. Yeah.
And we found some. We found a lot of places that would fit the description. We never found them. But the Dave Anderson's in-laws built a house up and back, and I'm suspicious that they vaporized him when they excavated.
Oh, geez. Wouldn't they have noticed?
I don't know. After 100 years, I don't know.
Wow.
So you knew Cliff Air?
Huh? Yeah. I didn't know him well, but we talked. He had a lot of family history for me.
Yeah, he has deep roots here. Well, he had deep roots here in town, yeah.
Mm.
He did some wonderful research for the Historical
Yeah,
Society.
I bet. Yeah.
Yeah,
Last time I saw him, he was still sitting in his car. He couldn't get out of it.
yeah.
Junior Corso was wonderful, though. He'd stop by the house every once in a while. He collected old antique tools.
Yeah.
And he'd say, bet you don't know what this is.
Yeah.
He's right.
Is Rebecca his daughter?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's the daughter, I think.
Okay.
Well, the one I remember the most is he had a watchmaker's tool set, little chisels,
Oh, watchmaker.
little things. Did you ever see that?
No, I didn't,
It
but-
fit in maybe a double cigarette pack, all these little tools. And he was so proud of that one, though. I guess they had 3 auctions finally to get rid of all of his tools.
Oh, I was wondering if they were at the Historical Society in Bradford, because
No, in
Rebecca
Warner.
is so involved with
They
them.
were in Warner.
Yeah, most of
especially.
no,
Sorry, Rebecca
Warner.
is
Yeah.
in
It's
Warner. They
Warner.
have those. They
Yeah.
have all kinds of museums.
Oh, yes,
And
yeah.
Rebecca's been really involved with them,
Yeah.
so I don't know if they.
my Uncle John Rand of the Warner Group actually owned a house in Bradford. Remember where the nursing home used to be on this bottom of?
Yeah.
Well, right across the street, there's a house used to have a front porch on it. That was the house she lived in. Well, he did, but I didn't know him. But his daughter, who I knew, she was an aged lady. My dad used to take things over to her. Was on Addie. Addie starts with a C. The street, Cheney, Addie Cheney, and but they've taken the. It's right next to Doc Wright's house, or near it. but they've taken the front porch off and hardly recognize it.
Wow, it looks so different. All right.
Good.
That's all I have. Any questions?
Well, Jan, we really appreciate you coming in here and
Well, it's
spending
been
an
fun.
hour with us.
I want
It
to
was
tell
great
you a
fun.
funny story about Cliff Air, because my mother-in-law lived in the Laportes, lived in the garage that's now the sporting place.
Sporting place.
And Cliff was building his house right across the street. So one of the nights he came in all shook up, and he said to Bernice, "I just saw a ghost." And she said, "What?" He said, "I was working out on the house, and a ghost went right up the side of the cemetery." She said, "Oh, Cliff, you idiot, that's Mrs. Laporte. She goes up every night to her husband's grave."
Okay, let's see, I got one like that. Gee, these things flash in and flash out so fast. There was another, let's see, with Dave Anderson. After we spent a lot of time trying to track my great-grandfather, he was driving home one night, and you realize he had a lot of these exotic animals. Well, Dave's driving down the road one night, and he puts his foot on the brake, the hair goes up the back of his neck, and he sees an albino woodchuck walking across the road. He says, he called me up, he says, "I think we disturbed your great-grandfather."
Oh, that's so cute. Oh, my word.
That's great.
Okay, wonderful.
Of course, you remember Pat Rooney, somebody asked him, what's he doing here after he played Broadway and did all these things in the 20s? He said, well, he's broke now. Why? What happened? He says, blame it on three things, if I can remember them. One was bad liquor, bad women, and wasted the rest of it away.
Good. Okay, well, thank you again, Jan. I
Okay.
guess we
Yes,
can
thank you.
shut
It was
things
fun.
down now.
Oh, I